I was very excited to hear some of the things that Stephen Covey had to say this morning, because it really tied well into the two models that we're going to talk about today around leadership. This afternoon is called Leaders Are Made, Not Born. And a lot of us, when we think about the whole concept of leadership and we see someone that we think is a good leader, we quite often go, oh, that's very natural for them. They seem to be just like a duck to water when it comes to leadership. I couldn't do that. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I don't see myself doing that or being that way. Now, the challenge with that is then we think that leadership is something that has to be put aside, that we're either that kind of person or we're not that kind of person. We're that kind of manager or not that kind of manager. And the challenge with that is, for some of us, that gives us a, whew, thank God I squeezed out of that one. I don't have to work into that management role or see myself as a leader because I'm just not that kind of person. My goal in life is to have people understand that anyone can be a leader. We all have leadership traits that we can develop and build. We also have some hidden leadership traits that we need to discover and develop. Now, in the book, Escape from Oz, which was my second book, there was the metaphor that this book is all about is why it's called Escape from Oz is the context around Wizard of Oz. Now, who remembers the story of the Wizard of Oz? Okay, who read the book, not watched the movie? A couple, yeah. It's not the same story. It's not the same story. And what I talk about in this book is the actual story according to the book, not according to the movie. And there's how many characters, main characters in The Wizard of Oz? First there's Dorothy, and who else is there? Scarecrow? Tin Man?
Don't look at me.
I mean, who's the last one? The Lion, exactly. And she's looking at me and I don't have the answer. That's okay. If I ask you to participate in any way and you don't want to, say pass. Next. Bug that person over there. It's okay by me. Might not be okay for that person. So when we think of these characters in The Wizard of Oz, the lion wanted, the scarecrow wanted, someone had a high carb lunch there. And the third character was the, and what did he want? A heart, right. So all the three characters think that they need these things. They don't see that they actually have these things. And that's why I encourage you to go and actually read the book. You don't have to have a small person to read it to. You can read it as an adult and find some value in it. But in the book, the scarecrow is the one who usually comes up with all the innovative ideas in the book. When they get into trouble, it's the scarecrow that consistently comes up with the right ideas. But because someone at some time had told him that he wasn't that smart or he didn't have brains because he was a scarecrow, he let that limit him as to who he thought he could be and who he was. Now the Tin Man, as they went on their journey, he had to carry with him a oil can. And the reason he had to carry the oil can with him on his journey was that he consistently started to cry because he was a very emotional, caring character. So can you see how it doesn't jive with the movie already? So when we think about the characters, like Covey was talking about having that heart, the spirit, the mind, all of those things coming together, in that story, the Tin Man had what he was looking for. He already had what he was looking for. Now who is the third character? The lion. And what was the lion searching for? Courage, courage. But in the book there's one example where they're putting this timber across this chasm to escape from these wild creatures. And he says, let me go first, because if I fall, it won't be such a big deal. We don't want Dorothy to go first. So he consistently showed that he had courage, even though he in his mind did not think he had what it took. So I'd like you to think for a second, what do you think that you have? There's lovely seating available here in the front row. Please put up your hand if there's a seat left at your table. We have a seat here and a seat at this table here, these two tables here, and the lovely front section as well. So when it comes to leadership, quite often we sit in seminars like we have for the last 2 days and hear some really wonderful ideas, and then we go home and don't do anything about them because they are way out there. Oh, wow, was that guy a good speaker? Oh, was she a great speaker? That was just really innovative. But I don't see how I can make that real to me in my leadership role. First of all, we don't even see ourselves as leaders, let alone taking these ideas that we have and incorporating them in our everyday life. When we're a leader and we start thinking of ourselves as a leader and we start acting as leaders in small ways which lead to big ways, it changes our lives. It changes our lives in our family. It changes our lives in our marriages. It changes our lives in our community groups that we belong to. It changes our lives in the teams we belong to. It might even change your life on your curling team. It might not improve it, but it could improve your relationships. So the first step is for us to start thinking about, can I even be a leader? Do I see that inside of myself? And it's not about age, and it's not about job title. It's about attitude, and it's about a belief about who you can be and who you can influence in a leadership way.